Principled leadership, good governance, and ethical practices are a basic need for successful and sustainable organizations. Today's guest is a seasoned politician, lawyer, and business leader who lived by the command, "Thou shalt not steal," throughout his career and has shown a commitment to servant leadership, performing his duties without fear or favor. Dr. Mathews Phosa is a distinguished South African statesman whose unwavering commitment to ethical leadership has defined decades of public service. He's a veteran anti-apartheid activist who sacrificed personal comfort for justice and later served as Premier of Mpumalanga and as a member of the ANC National Executive Committee. Whether in the courtroom, the cabinet, or the boardroom, Dr. Phosa has never wavered from his core principles of integrity, accountability, and service to others. His reputation for speaking truth to power and his refusal to compromise on ethical standards have earned him respect across political and business circles. Today, he shares his wisdom on how ethical leadership can transform not just organizations, but entire industries and communities. Dr. Phosa, welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So your granddad worked at the mines, and I just want you to take us back to your childhood and memories that being raised by a man and some of the valuable lessons you learned in your upbringing.
My grandfather, after whom I am named, Mathews Phosa, worked at the Kimberley mine, the famous big hole, and he had to leave his wife in the far north, Limpopo, with children. He had 8 children to bring up, 4 from his wife, 4 from his elder brother who died while they were still young, and he brought them up as his children, sent them all to school, all of them from working from a mine. It just shows it can happen. That time they lived in the Butlokwa. I was far outside there, by Polokwane, 100 kilometers outside there. And he was shuttling with trains, and they couldn't afford a car. They used trains, buses. Any mine workers would try to move around. And managed to get my father to be a teacher. My other uncles with all sorts of qualifications, and both his direct children and indirect children who had adopted. When we grew up, we just saw them as 8 children. We were never told that they were different parents, but they did. And he united the family that way. Very religious man. When you go to eat, you have to pray first. When you go to sleep, you must pray first. When you wake up, you have to pray. Thank God that you're alive. You're standing firm in your shoes, your bed is empty. You are alive, you thank God. It's not because of your strength. We grew up like that. My grandfather's religion was education. It was God and education. It was education. And the educated children who are not his as well. Like my uncle Collins Ramusi. But the first lawyer in the family, basically. His mother was a younger sister to my grandmother. And he took him as his son. And he encouraged him with my other uncle, the same age, to study. And Collins Ramos became the first lawyer in the family. And of course, as God would have it, I became the second one. I emulated him. He used to tease me, says, "You really want to be a lawyer? You really want to study lies?" I had to convince my grandfather that the textbook have no lies. And then he says to me, "Listen, okay, your uncle is a lawyer, you'll be like he, but look at Mandela." I didn't know Mandela was. I knew about Mandela from my grandfather. He's in jail. He's a lawyer. Are they not going to arrest you like Mandela? I said, "No, I don't think so." I think I was fooling myself. If you take my later life, I became a target of so many things. That's my grandfather. He believed in education. And he practiced that. He made sure that we're all educated. He used to say to me, "You're staying long at school, and then now you're at university. I'm going to end up dying without seeing you qualified. So I'll get my B Proc." He said, "Yeah, now I feel better." But so I want to do LLB. He says, He said, going out, when are you going to be a lawyer? I want to die before you become a lawyer.
Sure.
I passed my LLB with nice marks. I finished. I went to do my articles. I finished. I was admitted as an attorney. I started practicing. He was still alive to see me all through all that. And the next thing, I'm thrown into exile, of course. He died when I was in exile. Sure. When I had left a legal practice behind home with Phineas Mjapiru from Mahuba. But he followed my education like a dog chasing a rabbit to check whether when is he going to get tired and want to catch it. But it was the support he gave me with my grandmother throughout.
Sure. Look, your journey into law and the armed struggle as well was at the heart of it. You wanted to really fight for justice and just have people have access to freedom and justice. Maybe just reflect on that, at some of the things that you had to do to ensure that, people get freedom. And I know you even gave up, some of your opportunity to make money because at the heart of it, you wanted to serve humanity. Just reflect on that journey.
So for the sake of young people today, we grew up in an atmosphere of apartheid. You wouldn't sit on certain benches in a park. They were written whites only. You wouldn't sit there. If you sit there, you're committing a crime. Certain shops, there'll be two queues, one queue for the whites, one queue for the blacks and entrances. And certain schools, most of those schools, you do for whites or blacks. We grew in that atmosphere of serious discrimination, And as young people, we had to make our own judgments about the situation. And we came to the conclusion that it is right to fight apartheid.
Sure.
It is our right. And the apartheid did not want to accept a peaceful solution of the problem in South Africa. It used violence to impose itself on all of us. And we said to ourselves, well, after trying everything, protests, peaceful demonstrations, this is where our grandfathers, like Mandela, came to contribute. But now, violence will be met with violence. But that's the language they understood, because then let's unleash it against them. But in a very responsible way, not fighting to bomb civilians, but to target police, target the defense force, and engage them and wear them down until they talk peace. The struggle was never about violence for the sake of violence. It was to push the apartheid government to a corner where they see sense and want to talk peace. Talk to the international community. And thanks to the great leaders of India, Nehru, who moved a motion in the United Nations to declare apartheid a crime against humanity. It helped because it mobilized the world against apartheid. And then, of course, they couldn't play sport outside. Today, the Springbok play in New Zealand, everywhere. They're not allowed. The cricket teams are not allowed. There was this boycott, the anti-apartheid movement, thanks to them throughout the world, in London, in Europe, in America. Jesse Jackson and them, those guys, made hell for apartheid, but they helped us. So we didn't win our freedom alone. We won our freedom with the support of the international community. In Africa, all African states, the African Organization of African Unity, united against apartheid, supporting the liberation movements. The ANC, the PAC, and AZAPO, and all of them, saying, let's all fight this evil of apartheid. It was discriminatory. So we didn't go to exile because we wanted to go to exile. No. I was a practicing lawyer, but a human rights lawyer. Come to your question. I made up my mind. Our people have no rights, so we must fight for the rights. We are lucky today. The rights are entrenched in the Constitution. You don't have to fight for them. We fought for them. We engaged in the street. I left my wife with one little girl, 4 years old. I was thrown out to exile because actually I was 3 hours saved from death. I did realize later when we had arrested one of these guys that I just escaped by 3 hours, But I thank God for that, And it was worth it fighting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was something that had to happen. Some people were landed up in Robben Island, other political prisoners, other prisons. A lot of us in exile, many throughout the whole world. But it was all worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Doc, you had a very close relationship with Nelson Mandela, and you actually referred to him as the University of Life. And a lot of your political decisions in your career, you would consult him. Maybe describe your relationship with him and why you would refer to him as the University of Life.
Well, first of all, we all looked upon him as a role model for a revolutionary struggle. Yeah. You know, he was in prison as a symbol of that resistance. But he was not alone in prison. He was with Susulu, Gordon Mbeki, Mhlaba, and many others. And we met in Lusaka at some point. And I was just coming from Uganda to clear the ANC prisons. You know, I was trusted to look at them and say, really, how do you move forward with these prisons? Yeah. You know, some guys were just Taha smokers. I said, no, they must be released. Others were political. They committed serious murders. One guy killed 35 people in the country. So I met him. He says to me, boy, that's how I always refer to me. You know, I want you to come home to work with me in the negotiation process. We've talked to the leadership of the ANC. They say you and Pendle Maduna and Jacob Zuma will come along with me. You know, and I thought, you know, this is crazy. I'm a commander in the army in the front in Mozambique. I'm a wanted man. Yeah. I mean, I've survived 3 more attempts on my life. You know, at the end, index I was about 4 attempts. They tried very close shave attempts on my life. When I go home, they're gonna kill me like a chicken sitting in the kitchen. So, but these are the thoughts running through my mind. And then I was calm about coming home to come and talk. And fast forward, the leadership called me from Mozambique and said, you will join the team. Maduna and Zuma were already in the country, right? I came after alone, flew from Lusaka to Botswana, BA, British Airways, and I arrived here. I was told by Tabo, some people come and fetch you. You have to have faith that your leadership is not selling you out. Yeah. I was saying to Maduna the other day when I think back about it, we're the guinea pigs of the negotiations. We could have been killed. Nothing would have stopped them from killing us. They didn't care, you know. But thanks God it didn't happen. And we work with Mandela every day. It's like sitting on his lap and drinking milk from his breast. Yeah. Milk of wisdom. And I will say to him, why do you talk to the clerk? He says, you make peace with your enemy, not your friend. But you do have peace with your friend. So the nation needs me and the clerk to find one another. We need a situation where he brings the white votes into the settlement. Sure, and I bring the black votes into the settlement. We need one another. Then we must work across the bridge to the future. Sure. So we had to inculcate that in us. There was a lot of violence then. You know, people would be killed in towns. Mandela would be very irritated by that. And then we confronted the clerk now and then. And we were armed. I was armed with soldiers on the ground, everything, with weapons. And then he said to me, you know, one day I said, no, but they kill people as long as this. I want to retaliate. You can keep quiet, all guys.
And have peace, but...
Yeah, have peace. I want to retaliate. I want to also kill those who kill my people.
Yeah, sure.
They said, young man, don't use your heart, use your head. Your duty at this stage of our struggle is to impose peace on violence. Your duty, all of you guys, is to rise above your bitterness, rise above your anger, rise above your hatred, and be the champions of peace. Yeah. Because that's all the country needs. Sure. So impose peace on violence. You know, it's a big statement. Yeah. How many people after spending 27 years in jail can speak like that? But that's how he spoke. Yeah. And they're like in unison with Susulu and others that let's not do, that's what they want to use, let's not do what the enemy wants us to do, to sabotage ourselves in the peace process. Let's focus. I mean, they killed Chris Hani in the middle of that process of negotiations. May his soul be in rest in peace. Yeah. But the idea was to disrupt the whole peace process and scatter us in all directions, which was the enemy's agenda. Yes. But then we used Chris' death to say to the clerk and them, let's agree on the election date. The negotiations were still not finished, But let's agree. Let the nation have a target of when they will do it. They have an election. And we said the nation is upside down. You can't talk to the nation. You have for a moment to step back. Let Mandela talk to the nation and call us to order and say, guys, let's not burn ourselves to ashes. Let us use the Chris Hani's death to move forward.
Sure.
So Chris donated his blood for our freedom in even a dramatic manner. You know. So these are the guys who we worked with and who guided us every day. I mean, remember one day I was very angry with Janus Walush for having killed Chris. And I came closer to him at court, and he looks at Comrade Mpohane with a lot of disrespect, as if he's not the one who killed her husband, and saying funny things, hello baby, and all that. You know, he's murderer. And then I said to myself, you know, this guy must be hanged. When the press asked me a question, but that was not ANC policy to hang people. And then the press said, oh, is this a new policy? They really wanted to celebrate my statement of anger. But Mandela was coming from overseas. I went straight to him. I said to him, hey, Tata, listen, I made a mistake. Yeah. We're going to a press conference. The first big question is not your trip. Is has the ANC changed its policy on hanging? And he says, boy, I understand the anger. Yeah. I'll handle that. Sure. Then we go to the press conference. The first thing is tell the press, guys, listen here. You see, Comrade Matthew got very angry with Walush. And he told me why. You know, he made a statement that Walush must hang. It's not our policy. And he says to me, please apologize for me.
And you did?
I did, he did. And then they never ask a question. Yeah. That's magnanimity of the person. To be transparent, to be open and say, I'm sorry. You know, to say I'm sorry is noble. To forgive is even more nobler. You know, it's more nobler. Yeah, so those are some of the many lessons. That's why I said Mandela was like a university of life. Yeah. I've now met a father I work so closely with, Ranim, you know, who made me open the book for the nation. You know.
Sure. Your journey in activism, business, and law is marked by your commitment to ethical leadership.
Yes,
and you even taught ethics at university. What drew you to focus on ethics and good governance?
I've been a practitioner for 51 years.
Sure.
Yeah, and I started that small firm, the first law firm, black law firm in Nelspruit. I always believe that we need to be ethical in our behavior. The legal profession insists on that. Once you are unethical, we report you to the law practice for discipline. Yeah, you could be unethical in many ways, like stealing trust money. It's not yours. You're stealing. You're a thief, not the lawyer. You know, you could be unethical in the way you treat your own colleagues. It's not allowed. They will report you. You know, if you treat them in an unprofessional manner. Sure. You know, and there's so many ways. So I grew up with ethics. But fast forward. In business, governance is everything. Sure. What does it mean? It means you must be ethical. You must be transparent. You have to observe corporate governance. Sure. You know, if the company's excess, you must hold board meeting 4 times a year minimum. You go to do it, sure. And you go to account to the shareholders. But that's your constituency in business. You know, don't lie to them. Don't steal from them. Don't cheat the shareholders. You know, you work for them, and even if you're not a shareholder, but you're non-executive, you work for the shareholder. They are your population in a company. But when you occupy public office, and this is very important, become a premier. You don't go to become a premier to steal from the people, which is why I fired 3 MECs. Because that's what they're stealing from the people, you know. And you don't become a councillor to go and steal. You know, I hear people saying people will become councillors to line up for the tenders. It is outrageous. That's what makes people in the country lose confidence in political parties. The ANC has suffered. We got 40%, from 57%, from 79%. Because people are passing judgment on the party. They're saying, guys, why must we trust you? We trusted you, you betrayed us. It's all a ring of 250 billion being stolen at local government. I am opposed to any form of corruption. And I've been outspoken. Doesn't make you popular, but leadership is not a popularity stake. Leadership is in the interest of the people. So the ethics are important there. In the private space, I've been the first patron of corporate governance organization. Guys like the current commissioner of SARS were part of my team. I was the first patron of corporate governance. So for me, that's my life. Fish swim in water. Good people must swim in good ethics. Sure. It must be a second nature. The question is, the issue is, do right all the time. Don't do right when some people are observing you. Sure. You must do right in darkness and in light. There's an expression that all of us in business or in public life must cook with water. You cannot, when you cook with water, you cook with milk. Where do you get the cream from? There's something wrong with what you're cooking with, Or as a leader, you say to the people, let us turn left, but you turn right. What type of leadership is that? You're not preaching you're not doing what you preach. You say turn left, but you turn right. Let's cook with water. You cook with, everybody cooks with water. You cook with milk. Where does you get the milk from? Where is the cream from? The cream is the product of corruption. Yes.
Sure. I actually want us to reflect on your book, Witness to Power.
Well, welcome.
Yes. I mean,
you're welcome.
Beautifully written. It was just so insightful. And I think I truly appreciate you having written that book. You say when you were a premier in Mpumalanga, one of the striking things you said is that that power corrupts and too much power destroys. Why is it so important for leaders to understand that and to really be careful around power?
Yeah, because they must understand they have power from the people who they should serve. But where we have faltered is where leaders begin to think that the power is to serve themselves, their family and relatives and their friends. And that has brought the rot, then power has destroyed us. It did not serve us. Power is not serving the people, it's serving the corrupt leaders. As corrupt official. But once you do that, the system stinks. And we've seen it, it's continuing. Yes, we should fight against that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you actually said that in your tenure, you fired people that were corrupt. And the words you actually used in your book is that you were firm about it. You were not even prepared to back down.
No.
And the reality is, if leaders are not decisive about these kind of things, rot spreads through your organization.
Exactly. You know what? You know how I fired them? Each one of them. I called them, I said, you've done this. It's an allegation, but it makes us not have a good smell. But you did this. What do you think should happen? The guy was, when we were sitting one-to-one, would say, but listen, I may have to resign. I said, well, I'm waiting for a letter. In both three cases, I received letters of resignation. They saved me the pain of announcing firing them. Yeah.
Look, standing between powerful individuals or standing between people and money can be quite dangerous. And that's why sometimes you find leaders in organizations, they are ethical, they want to do things right, but they're scared to even speak because their lives are in the line. And I actually think in your book you mentioned that when you fired people, your leadership was met with resentment and anger. What advice would you give to leaders in organizations who are ethical but they stand back because they're scared for their lives?
They're not leaders.
Sure.
Yeah. If you lead, you must understand it's not a popularity contest. That there's a price to pay for good ethics.
Sure.
Jesus Christ was hanged on the cross for being a good person. No one can tell me which crime did Jesus Christ commit to be hanged on the cross.
Sure.
He stood what was right. So we should also emulate him and stand what is right, do what is right in service of our people, and not betray the trust of the people. Because if you do that, then we're all rotten. Fear of death has never been part of my life.
Sure.
Fear of being injured is not part of my life. You must be prepared to pay the price of leadership, like Jesus did. Yes.
You actually had a very devastating accident when you were a premier. And I think it was during the time when you blatantly say no to these unethical dealings. Would you say that it was set up and your life at that time was in danger?
Well, there are a number of questionable things.
Sure.
And the first person to smell the rat was the late Comrade Winnie Mandela. May his soul rest in peace. She says, she came to the hospital, she was sitting on my bed and said to me, Dana, they want to eliminate you. I said, let's not push that line.
Sure.
I'm alive, I thank God.
Yeah.
She says they want to eliminate. If you look at the chemistry there, I was coming from Germany.
Yeah.
There was particular Mr. X who was my driver.
Yeah.
That day he was not there.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was not there until today.
Sure.
Some other deputy driver drove me. All right? And then the next thing we run into smoke, we bump into cars. Where is my driver? My normal security was not there. Why were they dismantled from the unit? And then I nearly died. I had 52 fractures here on my left femur. All I say, I thank God. But even when I was lying in hospital, certain comrades who I mentioned in my book, the day when I was doing my second operation, that morning, they walked into the ward to come and interrogate me. I said, but guys, are you mad? I chased them out of the ward. I said, you go away. But they were offered food in a light vein by my guys. I didn't know because I was lying in hospital.
They
refused to eat my food. So when I left the hospital, I went to the house. That was those days, and I went to see them. They're all there. Then they offered me food. I said, I'm not going to eat your food. They didn't know I knew they didn't eat my food.
Yeah.
I said, you didn't eat my food, you didn't trust me, so I'll poison you. I think you'll poison me too. So I'm not eating your food, please, thank you. And I walked out.
Sure.
I refused.
And when you were in hospital, you also mentioned that because of these visits and everything that was happening, you were not even prepared to hand over power.
No, it was not about handing over power because there was no reason to hand over power.
Sure.
I was injured, I was alive. I functioned as a premier while I'm in hospital, and when I was back home, everything went well. There was no problem. But others had agendas. They thought, now, they didn't tell me, they told others, one another, is he going to hold on? No one has ever asked me to hand over power. I didn't see the reason why. I was injured, so I was injured on duty, you know.
Yeah.
So I continued to work, and I campaigned. The best campaign I did. I was on my crutches. I mean, they got a guy to follow me as a premier. He didn't know the ANC, so I won't mention his name. But then Comrade Thabo came back and said, "No, listen, we're not doing well here. Please come back and campaign." He knew I was on two crutches. I went wild in the province and campaigned for the ANC, and the results rocketed like that. And I'm proud I did it on my crutches.
Yeah.
And I still have those photos with me crutches like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get put down by the accident, or that time I knew that, listen, I have to go to Cape Town as a parliamentarian and I won't be continuous as a premier. Nothing put me down. I was never there for positions. I was there for service. Yes.
Maradok, how do we actually expect people to fight so hard systematic injustices and this deeply rooted corruption when it's clear that lives are on the line?
Well, I think you have to say to yourself, listen, I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
The first time a hand grenade whizzed past my head, I was a bit slow to go down in the ditch. But that fright killed fear in me. You understand? So if you want to serve, you must not have fear in you. You must serve. You must fear the people and respect the people. We must educate our leaders to understand that it's people first and them last. And they walk into power to serve the people because it is people first. And then be uncompromising. We have this beautiful lady, Bebita, paying with her life in East Rand for standing against corruption. For me, she's my heroine.
Sure.
Paying with her life. I was prepared to pay with my life for what I did. I didn't fear anything. Yeah, I stood up. Very unpopular position to take when you're fighting your own comrade. They say, but what type of comrade is this? And that is the weakness. That's a good comrade to fight you for doing wrong things.
Sure.
But they don't want to fight out to punish one another.
Yeah.
They protect one another.
Sure.
And then the chain of corruption goes to one person to the other. That's not leadership. It's not even secondary leadership. it's thuggery in power.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Maphisa Commission.
Yes.
Look, I would describe that, or anybody would, as a political wilderness, where at some point, Beba a dictator. You didn't follow guidelines.
Yes.
That season was possibly very hard.
Yeah.
But what would you say to leaders who are being sort of punished like that because of standing for something that is right? What learnings should they really be taking?
First of all, my Peace Commission.
Yeah.
And maybe she's still alive, she can listen to this.
Yeah.
Was a kangaroo organization set up by Thabo Mbeki. It was a kangaroo. The NEC of the ANC never authorized that so-called commission. It didn't follow any rules. It was a jumble. So they could call anyone anytime they want. So they had factions in the province. Those who have been gossiping with them to try and verify me. And we know their names. Some of them are dead, and I don't want to mention them because I can't answer in this interview. I respect them. But they tried their best. But what happened? That report was sent to National. And the late Professor Asmal chaired that appeal body. He dismissed it. When she's alive, he was part of that. They said, this is nonsense. It's a witch hunt. I remember I was driving out of that place, Professor Khan asked me this funny laughter. He said, how are you, President Phosa? He was ridiculing the thing that I wanted to be president through other people. He says, let me tell you, this is a joke. It's a joke, don't take it serious, go on with your life. That's what Kadasman said as head of the head of the peer body. He says, just go on with your life. Did anyone stop there? No. He went on and said, no, but you know, the late chair Mandela, who was my deputy chair, and may his soul rest in peace again, and myself are the two magnets. You know, we are factional. Now it's no longer me alone, it's me and him. We imagine the story. But the first story didn't sell. Therefore, we must step down as me as chairman, chair Mandela as deputy. So we go to a conference, a manufactured conference. I go there, I say to Comrade Chair, we must step down. Let's not look like we're power hungry. He said, but Comrade Phosa, will you stand up and say it? And I said, yes. So I stood up in the conference, I said, Guy, me and Comrade Chair Mandela are not going to stand for any position. Find a new chair, find a new conference. Right? Find a new deputy. But the guys in the hall were not happy. But I said it. I said, we're not standing. For the sake of the ANC, we didn't want to contest positions. You know, because it was not about us. It was about the unity of the ANC. But they had messed it up. They were patching up. That conference which only elects 2 people. Normally it elects all executive.
Look, what I'm getting from you is that it's actually quite important that your ethical lifestyle is consistent, because whatever is thrown at you, it should be tested. And I know, to your defense, Mandela said he's not going to give credibility to lies. How important is it, especially for leaders in dark and light, to be very consistent in how we do things? Because any day we can be checked.
Mandela said to me, I've been told by Comrade X that Comrade Thabo does not want you anymore to be a premier.
Sure.
It was in the middle of my period. He said, let me tell you, I'm the president, you stay premier. No one will get rid of you. No one will get rid of me.
Sure.
Until at the end. But it stood by me. You know, when we are accused of a plot, me, the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, and Tokyo Sukhwale, these are my comrades, accused of a plot to kill Thabo Mbeki and overthrow him as president. Mandela went on national television and said, I don't believe this rubbish. These boys, I know them. They're my boys. They are not guilty of anything like that. He was proved right. All of us, we kept our calm and we said, I said, I don't want to dignify rubbish. I said so. And I didn't say Comrade Thabo was insulting the intelligence of the nation. How would we do that? He's our president. We like him. Why would we want to overthrow him? What crazy thing is this? That's the stand we took. And Khalema played a role, I must give him credit.
Sure.
He called all of us in different meetings. Guys, let's allow the investigation to go on. Let's be dignified. We became dignified. What happened? After 12 months of wasting state money, investigating us, they found nothing.
Sure.
But there was nothing.
Yeah. Look, your tenure as a premier ended up in 1999, and look, you describe it as quite an emotional end to a chapter that was quite important to you. But I think what stood out for me is that you said to yourself you were very proud that you could firmly stand against, you call them what? Corrupt thugs.
Yes.
And you resisted.
I'm still saying so.
Yeah.
I mean, today, those who are there in power still, they're thugs.
Yeah.
It's staggering.
Sure.
Yeah.
So echo on that proud moment for you to have served the way you did as a premier.
I served a full term, 5 years.
Yeah.
And when Comrade Thabo announced that Comrade Mahlangu will follow me, in that morning, I sent him a letter of congratulations.
Yeah.
One commentator phoned me in the afternoon to say, "Come, Mahlangu with the Prima." I said, but I long congratulated him. He said, "How did you know?" I said, but I know.
Yeah.
I knew that you have appointed him. So, and I congratulated him. I wished him well. I didn't say, "Oh, what happens?" He was my successor and you appointed him as the president. So good luck to him.
Sure.
Yeah.
You refused to step in as an MP during Thabo Mbeki's tenure, and you also declined an offer or position as a chair of chairs in the National Assembly. And that got me thinking that, are we not at the risk that ethical and good leaders would choose not to be in positions of influence because of how things are done? Because if that's the case, it's quite dangerous for organizations to function like that.
I remember 2 calls with Kumetawa. The one we argued in the evening. And I imagine I'm on my wheelchair. And I said to him, you know what, if you're going to be the next president and you work like this, I don't want to be in your government. I don't think he took me seriously. But after they asked me to campaign, and I campaigned on my crashes dramatically, he was humble enough to ask me to phone at night. I said to his wife phoned my wife. He said, "I want to thank you." He thanked me for having joined the campaign, but he knew against what odds. You know, and then thanks very much for running the thing for the ANC and all those things. The fact of the matter is, we need to screen our leaders now. Yeah. It cannot be because you are wearing a black, green, and gold or a blue shirt that you are a leader. Yeah. It cannot be because you can toy very high, jump all over, that you are a leader. Those are not qualifications of a leader. It cannot be that because you signing slogans of the ANC. That's not leadership. No, leadership is more than that. It's having good governance, ethical. Yes. Understand service, being a servant leader. You know, not a leader for yourself, but for the people. Sure.
I want us to reflect on your role as a Treasurer General of the ANC. One thing you started off on that is that when money is involved, vultures are all around. What principles did you hold so tight in that very critical roles? And I just want also for you to share those principles, particularly for people in positions where they authorize these big amounts.
You see, if you look at some basics about fundraising, people who fund values. Sure. They fund aspirations. You understand? They will not fund something which they don't regard as value. Now, the ANC, for me, stood up with a democratic flag. People are funding democracy. Sure. They wished us well. You know, when your name starts sinking, people stop giving you money. Then you can't pay salaries and rent because their name stinks. Yeah. So the funders fund values, which I knew the ANC stood for. They fund our aspiration to liberate the black majority. They funded that struggle. They gave us money. Not only internally they give us money, but also internationally. I raised a bag of my money internationally all over the world. And I got millions for that, which was the biggest amount the ANC ever got. You know, one day 1.6 million just came into our coffers. People said, "Where did it come from?" They were shocked. But I knew where it came from. I didn't disclose. I kept my source of funding quiet. But I was proud to serve the ANC as a treasurer. I'm in the middle of a centenary celebration, which consumed more than 280 million. You know, and we had to raise money for running of the ANC and for running of the centenary. Just a beautiful centenary under Comrade Balagambete, my cousin. You know, it was run very well. She always, whenever I saw her in my office, wearing a Chalinyana, I said, "Oh, she's looking for money today." But she was doing a good job. Sure. So I had to support her and support the effort of making Centenary beautiful. But at the same time, there was a bill of 12 million per month salaries. I had to pay it every month. I assessed the salary levels of the workers of the ANC. They were very low. I got an HR person, which was not a hired HR person, professional. I hired a chartered accountant to run the finances. I corporatized the finances. And I said to myself, Elizabeth, benchmark the salaries. She's still there. She paid, but the salary were low. Imagine, I took a decision that says increase the salaries. We all paid with increased salaries. We said we pay them bonuses every year on their birthday. We did that. South African Council of Churches knows. They came to the ANC and said this treasurer should help us with money. I gave them 6 million rand, the churches, to run. They know it, you know. And then the Communist Party, I paid all their salaries nationwide, in the regional offices everywhere. I paid them. And then the COSATU, one day came to me and said, no, give me 10 million. I gave him. Because I was raising money ethically. And the people who were giving us money believed in what I did. Yeah. I used to have these dinners, massive dinners. But I didn't use the dinners as such to raise money. It was to profile the ANC, which we did.
Hi there, I hope you are enjoying the conversation. If you have not yet joined the Mining Insight community, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button. Would love to grow this community with you. Also, we love hearing from you. Drop us a comment and let's keep engaging. Enjoy the rest of the conversation. Doc, look, the reality is when you are in that position, there is people who want to offer you money for personal gain. Maybe just talk us through some of the things that came to your desk and how you as a leader go about, rejecting those things clearly.
For example, one of the colleagues in Centenary went to IDC and asked for a check. We used checks those days. Yeah. But the CEO of IDC at that time knew my policy of not taking money from the state. And I'll give other examples. He called me and said, Comrade Matthew, it can't be you. I said, what do you mean it can't be you? These guys are asking for 6 million for the ANC. I said, don't give them. Sure. Don't give them. Just don't give them that money. That time there was Hitachi, which had a contract with ESCOM, and one of the ANC companies was part of that. I said, but guys, you can't be government and suck for your own titty. You are in power. Let's get out of this Hitachi deal. Who? Did I make friends in the ANC? I made enemies. It was in Sunday Times. I was being attacked. I said to myself, oh, hallelujah, where am I going to run to? But this is a principle. Yeah. What happened to Hitachi later? Hitachi was punished by the Security Council in the US that they're doing business with the ruling party. They should have listened. They didn't listen. It served them well to be penalized. But there was a principal position. So we don't take money from the devil to run the angels crowd. Yeah. No. Yeah. I didn't do that. I didn't want it. Yeah.
Look, you left the political office, but you maintained advising and guiding. And I just want to bring one example where you advised the then Minister of Finance, NEC, not to bail out SAA with 11 billion. And one of the striking things you said was, if you are fired, rather be fired, but work in integrity. And he later thanked you for that. Maybe echo on that.
Well, I found him at the airport at the Continental sitting with me and the lady. Yeah. And in the middle of this debate about the 6 billion, 11 billion, I said to me, may I please speak to the minister? She didn't know what my agenda was. I said, he came to me, I said, is she asking for the billions? Said, well, something like that, but I said, but are you going to give her? I said, but don't give her. He said, come on, Matthew, I'm going to be fired. I said, it's better to be fired and walk away with your integrity than sit there begging for a job, but you have no integrity. Sure. He fired him in 2 days after that. and then I didn't see him for a while. When he saw me, he gave me a big hug. Yes. That no, it was right. Yeah. But he moved on. Sure. Kumrunene is doing well in business, but at least he walked away with integrity. Sure. Yeah?
There's quite a lot of reasons that are cited for people taking money, right? People talk about, escaping poverty, wanting the status, socials, and you name it. And you see quite a lot of young people who are participating in that, right? Maybe just what advice would you speak on that, because it's almost systematic.
Well, I came from a poor family. Yeah. A grandfather was a mine worker, a teacher and a nurse. There's nothing rich about that. You struggle, you get. I was telling your husband that I've never worked for anybody. All I know when I was qualified at university was to serve articles and then work for myself. Sure. And all the business I started, it was from my own sweat and toil, or with my colleagues who are in those businesses with me. I focused myself on saying, you will be a job creator, not a job seeker. Sure. The orientation of young people should be, I get the skills, whether it's vocational or technical or academic. I want to be my own job creator. If you're going to serve as a teacher, be a good teacher. If you're a preacher, be a good preacher. If you're a nurse, be a good nurse. Serve. Be a servant leader wherever you are. Don't come with a shortcut and tell me,
There's good
It's because there's poverty. We all run away from poverty every day.
Sure.
Poverty is the most pathetic reason for stealing. It's pathetic.
Sure.
You know, we all come from poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah. People think we're born wearing suits. We work for it.
Yeah.
You know, we work for it.
Look, when we look at the current state of ethics in organizations, are you hopeful or concerned around the direction we're taking? I'm
even more worried. I think there's decline. Why did the ANC get 40% from 51, 57%
Sure.
overnight? I mean, it's not a fall. It's a dramatic collapse. And the predictions now are saying it will get between 26 and 36%. It's not looking good. So the image and the smell of the ANC, it's not perfumed well. The image does not look. The optics don't look good, and we look like we're lethargic. We just allowing private sector to be on autopilot, and then we'll see tomorrow. You know, these people, take Zondo. Zondo pinpointed 91 people. And I phoned the head of the Hawks.
Yeah.
I said to him, tell me, have you investigated these people?
Yeah.
He said, no one has asked me to investigate them. I mean, why? We spend billions on Zondo. He points out in the direction. I'm not saying they're guilty, but they must be investigated. You know, a presumption of innocence applies with the rule of law in our country. Yeah. But do something about it.
Sure.
Yeah, be seen to be so scary for those who want to steal. That hey, if you do this, this will happen to you. Yes. But now, what happened to our speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa, who was running this kangaroo commission? She's been charged from a high position of being a speaker. I'm not saying she's guilty. I think she's innocent until she's found guilty, or she's not otherwise. Sure. But the fact of the matter is the smell is not good. You know.
Sure. Doc, leaders like yourself, Mandela and many others, really sacrificed a lot to emancipate people. And you did mention how you saw your family at some point once in 5 years. What advice would you give to current leaders in different organizations around protecting that legacy and the future of our generations to come?
Leadership is not about me or you. It's about the people.
Sure.
The starting point, when you say on your marks, get set, go. Go where? Go to serve the people, not yourself. And you must put the people above yourself and understand it's service. Yeah. It's not stealing.
Doc, thank you so much for your insights and for really living it out loud for people to see it's actually possible.
Thank you for the opportunity to articulate these basics of leadership. Basics.
You're right, it's really basics. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Leadership is service, and those who seek it must be willing to submit to the masses they serve. I hope this episode has inspired you to be firm and unbending in doing things right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, and God bless.